Good afternoon, class. Today, our learning objective is students will be able to explain and illustrate which physical adaptations are needed for animals to survive in their desert habitat. The language objectives for today are: for reading, students will be able to determine the central idea and theme and explain how they are supported by key details in order to understand why certain physical adaptations were needed for animals to survive in their habitats. The writing language objective is students will be able to adapt language choices to purpose, task, and audience when speaking and writing in order to explain and illustrate which physical adaptations are needed for animals to survive in their desert habitat. Listening language objective. Students will be able to adapt language choices to purpose, task, and audience when speaking and writing in order to explain and illustrate which physical adaptations are needed for animals to survive in their desert habitat. Speaking language objective. Students will construct grade-appropriate oral and written claims and support them with reasoning and evidence in order to articulate and recreate which evolutions were required for animals to survive in intense settings. The English language proficiency for today is: for reading, the ELP standard is determine the central idea and theme and explain how they are supported by key details. The writing ELP standard is students will use grade-appropriate, general academic, and content-specific words and phrases and expressions with developing control. The listening ELP standard is students will use grade-appropriate, general academic, and content-specific words, phrases, and expressions with developing control. The speaking ELP standard is students will use grade-appropriate, general academic, and domain-specific words and phrases, including those that signal precise actions, emotions, or states of being and that are basic to a particular topic. Now, before we begin, our opening question is: ¿Qué piensas? Has the Arizona desert changed in the last 10,000 years? If you think so, I would like you to discuss with the table buddy next to you and share with each other what has changed. I will give you a few minutes to do this. Once everyone has an answer, we can share with the class. Physical adaptations. What are physical adaptations? Physical adaptations are a physical feature of an animal that helps them better survive in their environment. You will also see throughout today's lesson the word camouflage, which is a defense mechanism or tactic that organisms use to disguise their appearance, usually to blend in with their surroundings. Mimicry. It is the act performed by organisms to resemble other organisms or inanimate objects to gain an advantage in their surroundings. Habitat. The natural home or environment of a plant, animal, or other organism. Predator. An animal that hunts, catches, and eats other animals. Prey. The animals that the predator hunts survive to remain alive. Now, our vocabulary or vocabulario en español. Adaptaciones físicas son cambios en la estructura o forma de un organismo que le permite funcionar mejor en su entorno. Camuflaje. Acción de disfrazar y ocultar. Los animales se camuflaje para esconder. Mimetismo. En la acción, arte o práctica de mimicar. Hábitat. Habitación natural donde organismos viven, crecen y prosperan. Depredador. Un animal que mata otros animales para comer. Presa. Un animal que puede ser atrapado o matado por un animal para comer. Sobrevivir. Continuar viviendo o existiendo a pesar de la existencia de peligros o amenazas. Animal vocabulary. Now, a few of the animals we will be seeing are Mexican gray wolf, a small, rare, genetically distinct subspecies of the gray wolf. Peccary, a pig-like mammal that resides in America. However, they are much smaller than pigs. Coyote, a wild dog that resembles a wolf. Puma, a species of a large feline native to the Americas. It is also known as puma panther or puma. White rhino, the largest species of rhino. Giraffe, a large African mammal with a very long neck and front legs. It is the tallest living animal with white stripes. Zebra, an African wild horse with black and white stripes. Lion, a social big cat usually found in Africa and South Asia. Rattlesnakes, venomous snakes that wag their tails to indicate when they are disturbed, found in the Americas. Vocabulario de animales. Lobo gris mexicano. Pequeño raro subespecies distinta del lobo gris. Pecario, un mamífero parecido al cerdo que reside en América, sin embargo son mucho más pequeños que los cerdos. Coyote, un perro salvaje que se asemeja a un lobo. Puma, especie de felino de gran tamaño nativo de las Américas. También se conoce como puma pantera o puma. Rinoceronte blanco, la especie más grande de los rinoceronte. Jirafa, gran mamífero africano con cuello y patas delanteras muy largas. Es el animal más alto. Cebra, un caballo salvaje africano con rayas blancas y negras. León, un gran felino social normalmente ubicado en África y el sur de Asia. Cascabel, son serpientes venenosas que sacuden la cola para indicar cuando son molestadas, localizadas en las Américas. Now, what each of you will receive next is our animal identification card. This is the English side of the animal identification card. As I go through the slides, you'll see the animal, and what you will do is you will fill out this animal identification card with their name, the 3 physical adaptations, and how it helps them survive. At the end, you will also notice that it has a 3-sentence summary. We will complete this 3-sentence summary at the end. La carta de animal identificación, the Spanish side. Again, el carta de animal identificación has the animal name and the 3 adaptations or adaptación físicos that you will be filling out throughout the slides, and you will also be filling out cómo le ayuda a sobrevivir. At the end, you'll also see the 3 oraciones that we will be completing at the end of the slideshow. You may choose to do either side. Physical adaptations of coyotes or coyote. Coyotes have thick fur that helps them keep them warm throughout the winter. The color of the fur helps them camouflage. Coyotes have heightened senses of hearing and smell to help them hunt their food. Coyotes can run 40 miles per hour. Coyotes have sharp teeth. Coyotes are intelligent animals, which helps them outcompete other predators. Physical adaptations of javelina. Javelinas have short, curved tusks for tearing through tough plants, defending themselves, and communication. Javelinas have scent glands that help them mark their territories. Javelinas have excellent hearing. Physical adaptations of white rhinoceros or el rinocerio blanco. Rhinos have thick skin to move through thorny shrubs. Rhinos have wide mouths to eat large amounts of grass. Rhinos have great hearing. Rhinos have a big bill to protect them from predators. Physical adaptations of giraffes or los jirafes. Jirafes have long tongues and fleshy lips to strip leaves from branches to eat. Jirafes are very tall to reach food sources. Jirafes have big eyes and see in color to watch out for predators. Jirafes also have a long neck to be able to see far for predators. Physical adaptations of zebras or cebras. Zebras have long and hooped feet to run quickly away from predators. Zebras have large eyes to see predators. Zebras also have strong incisors to break down plant food. Zebras have black and white stripes to blend together and make it harder to hunt them individually. Physical adaptations of the Mexican gray wolf or el mexicano lobo gris. The Mexican gray wolves have large skulls and jaws to catch and feed on mammals. Mexican gray wolves have keen senses of smell, hearing, and vision to catch prey. They also have thick gray woolly fur to help them insulate heat and keep out moisture. Physical adaptations of lions or los leones. They have retractable claws, rough tongues, nocturnal hunting in groups, and they also have heightened senses that help them survive in their habitat. They also have tan golden colored skin, which makes it impossible for them to hide between tall grasses in the wild. Physical adaptations of rattlesnakes. They have cold-bloodedness, which allows them to stay cool in their hot environment. They also can camouflage with the color of their scales. And they have a rattle at the end of their tail to warn predators. They also don't have any limbs and can slither. Now we are going to play a game called Guess the Animal with your table team. Now, with your table team, I am going to name off 3 physical adaptations, and I want you to discuss and guess with your table team which animal it is that you think I am describing. The first physical adaptation of this animal is they have excellent eyesight and night vision. They make little to no sound when they fly. They have large yellow eyes and soft feathers. Now I will give you a few seconds with your table team. If you guessed gray horned owl, you are correct. Now, our next activity is called an animal ID interview. Now, what you will do is either pick the English or the Spanish side, and you will research an animal using our animal books or the slideshow. I have given everyone a handout of the slideshow, and you will fill out your handout either again in English or Spanish, and you will research the 3 adaptaciones físicos or physical adaptations, and you will also research what it is that these adaptaciones físicos do to help your animal survive. Then, once you have filled out this information for your animal, you are then going to pick a partner and interview your partner about what their animal adaptations are and how those adaptations help them survive or sobrevivir. Now, once you have your handout completely filled out with yours and your partner's animal, you will then find another group to become a group of 4, and you will share your first partner's animal. I will give you 5 minutes to complete this. Now, our closing activity. Now that everyone has completed their animal interviews, we are going to take out a separate piece of paper, and you can draw a picture that represents everything we learned today. You may also at this time complete the 3-sentence summary on your first animal identification card in either English or Spanish. You also have the option of completing those 3-sentence summary in both languages for extra practice if you wish.